Hello, everyone. This is MS Mela. We have Nick Martin today and the co-host Sanjana. Those who have been following know the social sector in India and South Asia might know Nick, and Nick don't need an introduction. But those who are watching him for the first time, Nick is an inspiration, an educator, technologist, and someone who is an inspiration to anyone who look for a global and maybe a career in social sector. Nick has been a professor at Columbia and George Washington University, and then currently leads the TechChange as the CEO. He has been in the ecosystem for 20 years now. Welcome, Nick. Welcome to the conversation today.
MS Sanjana, thank you so much for having me, and really just a tremendous shout out to all the amazing humans in the social impact sector from South Asia who engage with my posts, who are out there on their social impact journeys, trying to make a difference in the world. Y'all are the reason I do this. It's such an important work that we do, and I'm just grateful that I get the chance to help connect dots between people and opportunities.
Thank you, Nick. Nick, you have been into the ecosystem and then you started TechChange and now ImpactSouct, which bring more opportunities from 500 plus nonprofits. This data I'm quoting from July itself. So maybe more and more organization every week are adding to TechChange ImpactSouct platform. Nick, would be great if you can just bit talk about what led you start TechChange, and then that would be because TechChange has been a great source to find opportunities. Your engagement on LinkedIn has been a great space for all of us to find opportunity. And frankly, Sanjana found such an opportunity sometime back, almost 2 years back, with some global nonprofits. So I think we have someone who have been benefited from your content.
Oh, oh, that's great. Well, look, my story is that I graduated from the University for Peace in 2006, and I had a really hard time getting a job. I had a degree undergraduate in modern poetry and a degree in education for peace and human rights as a master's. And man, it was challenging. And so a lot of the tech change journey was really because I couldn't find a regular job and work in the social sector. And in those days, there were very few job boards. Just Idealist was the only way to find a job, and I really struggled. I was able to get to a few application and interview rounds, but I didn't land anything. And so my father was an entrepreneur. My friend was an entrepreneur, my best friend at the time, and I thought, what if we started a business and an organization inside social impact that helped to use technology to train people about the ways that technology is impacting global development, social impact, philanthropy. And that was really the genesis of TechChange. We had no idea what we were doing. It was a lot harder and took a lot longer than we thought it would to make money and to figure out how to be sustainable. But those early days were about trying to provide a new type of education for people around the world who didn't otherwise have access to these kinds of tools and experiences and voices. And so, I teach at Columbia, I teach at Georgetown. I know that most people cannot come to the classroom where I teach. I have maybe 20 students a year who get to be in that classroom. But with TechChange, we were able to expand that classroom to thousands and tens of thousands. We've had over 1 million people take a TechChange course or participate in an event in the last 14 years. So we really do see the power of technology as being critical to democratizing access to opportunity and information. I'll stop there, but I can always say more.
I think it's great, Nick. Every day, it's beyond TechChange also for us. Like, I mean, we follow. There is a newsletter that you send. There's a list of coaches that can help us. There's a ImpactSource job board which help us find global opportunity, and then the list goes on and on. And then what's something that you have been doing the last week today while we are recording this interview in August 2024. You have also launched one course on LinkedIn learning platform. I think this would be your third or second or third course. And you know what is something that is missing, because from that classroom to maybe the workspace, what is missing? Most of our viewers who's watching you are from South Asia or India, and those who are looking for career in global nonprofits. What are the core skill that you think one need to have when they explore career with global nonprofit? What is something that these global nonprofits look for?
Well, at TechChange and also in the work that I've been doing at Impact Source and with Impact Coach, I think that we're seeing certainly there's always demand for technical skills. I think the technical skills of the day are focused around artificial intelligence and machine learning, but they, I think, are a little more expansive than that, right? Not just how to code and how to build those tools, but also how to ask the right questions, build and design the right prompts, and bring some of that expertise to nonprofits that may be, 1 to 5 years behind the curve, right? I think nonprofits in general, social impact, tend to be not on the cutting edge of technology. And so I always encourage job seekers to build and develop those technical skills. And I know many of you watching, living and working and studying in South Asia are technical and have access to really high quality technical training to build those skills. So I would absolutely continue to do that or to explore that if you haven't. The other side is the soft skills and the skills I would call leadership, management, communication, empathy. These are skills that sometimes are challenging to build and to manifest in a nonprofit environment, but they're often deeply sought after as nonprofits try to figure out how to um, take their missions and really kind of build human infrastructure around those missions. And so I do think that it's a balancing act. You want to build those technical skills in the latest technologies, but you also want to make sure that you're investing in some of those soft skills and those leadership skills. And that's really been a big part of what we've tried to do at Impact Coach. Another project of ours is to figure out how to help people through the power of coaching build some of those softer skills, understand their own journeys better, their own natural soft skills so that they can add more value to institutions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting into the skills that are required for every youth, not just for the global nonprofit, but any nonprofit to apply for or even become an entrepreneur. Before we deep dive more into the skills and career pathways within the sector, we would really like you to tell us more about how tech changes enabling people with global opportunities every day.
Sure. So at TechChange on the training and learning side, we are building lots of courses with large nonprofits and large agencies like USAID, World Bank, UN, to help deliver skills in things like digital health, digital agriculture, climate change. We have courses on all these topics. And a lot of times, if you follow me on TechChange, you will see that I am posting, hey, sign up for this free course that you can take with our partner, Save the Children, or the United Nations Disaster Risk Response, or this free event that you could attend. So there are many opportunities for you, no matter where you live in the world, to take part in these experiences. And in fact, we've had many humans from South Asia participate in events and courses with us. It's a great way to differentiate yourself and your skills. And almost the entire time it is free. Like there are a few courses that are paid, but most of them are free to access. All you need is the ability to get online. Also, we've been working very hard on this job board Impact Source, which is pretty neat. You can go on to impactsource.ai and it automatically combs all the job boards from something like 150 global nonprofits job postings into the single job board automatically. So you don't have to go to the UN or to these other, puts it all in one place. And then it allows you to search by skill, by role, and by salary, which is really great. You can search in dollars, you can search monthly, you can search whatever currency. And then you can also search by remote work. Now, there are a lot of conversations happening around remote work right now. And I know that many of you watching are frustrated by what we consider remote work. And I'm here to tell you, I can't solve all of those problems, but I'm really trying to push organizations to be more transparent about what it means to be remote. And so I know that's going to be a question when people are watching this. I know that I just want you to know that I'm thinking about this, and there are some really great resources for that. Our job board is trying to surface those opportunities more clearly. There, I'm happy to say more if useful.
Great. I think Nick, while you were speaking with remote work and tech change, definitely tech change is the kind of content that you're bringing was a big need in the ecosystem. There were different job boards, but and then every organization, one the big struggle that nonprofit have is to find talent. While some of these nonprofits say that they struggle to find funds as well, but fund it's equal to finding fund or finding talent, I think. And then you're solving that core problem through tech change. We hope that that would also bring more access to the global south or these nonprofits as well. Nick, I was also thinking while you said see in the global nonprofit ecosystem for remote jobs or remote workspaces.
It's a great question, MS. I think that in the past year, maybe 2 years, we've seen a little bit of a decline in the organizational acceptance tolerance for what we consider to be remote work, which again is a big umbrella. I'm going to use that term knowing that it doesn't have a ton of nuance, which is important to many of the folks who are listening. But if we're just talking about this monolithic remote work, I do get the sense that a lot of, at least in Washington, in the US, but I do think it's happening in the UK. I see it happening across Europe. Uh, I really don't know, and I can't speak to the South Asian context, but we're seeing a lot of employers wanting to get people back to the office at least 2, 3 days of the 5-day work week. At the same time, there is a lot of resistance from employees who are used to not commuting, are used to spending more time with family, are used to better work-life balance. Leadership tends to really want people in the office. People tend to not want to be there. I think that tug of war, I do think employees are winning that to some extent, but we're still seeing these mandates. Time I'm seeing a lot of organizations like TechChange, we've gone fully remote. We've said we really want to live our values. We believe in the power of online community building, online education, online convening. We want to make sure that our staff and our employees can be hired from anywhere and work from anywhere and not have to feel the pressure to be in a certain location. With the one caveat that we tend to generally work around Eastern time hours. But we've had many people working from places like South Africa and Paris and Mexico City, and in Asian cities as well. And so I do think that there are ways to make it work depending on the role, depending on the type of job. And I would just encourage folks who are looking for remote work to ask a lot of questions in the interview process. Really try to probe what type of remote work are we talking here? Can I keep the same hours? Do I need to be up at night? What is the balancing act that this organization is expecting me to bring?
Sure. Thank you for putting that out, Nick. We at Ground Zero also are fully remote, trying to build up our this culture of how do we trust and make our employees more confident and accountable for what they do. And yeah, so it's really helpful. We would like to take this interview process as well, saying okay, ask a lot of questions from us. Do you have to be up in the night, or do you have to work in the weekend? So that would also be one of our check marks from after speaking to you. um, I would also like learn from your experience what are the unique challenges and opportunities in the global social impact work, because you interact with multiple organizations on a regular basis, right? You are working with humanitarian based organizations who are working in gender related focused work. So what are the different challenges and opportunities with the global impact space as a whole?
If I take the 30,000 foot view, we are a very diverse sector. Social impact means climate, means health, means migration, culture, education, and so philanthropy. Melinda Gates moving out of the foundation, starting her own. She has Pivotal Ventures, but she's also now going to be starting some kind of foundation that'll have really big implications for funding for women and girls. I think that will mean a lot of jobs, I would imagine, and programs in South Asia. So if I were a job seeker, I would try and sort of watch some of these larger movements happening. And so I think there are events, again, you can attend on this. There are organizations, the top of these funding food chains that are really, committing in big ways to the climate movement. The World Bank is completely reorganized their strategy around climate. Organization. Some of that is about adaptation, and some of that is about sort of the technology and the bets that maybe we need to be making to mitigate the climate effects we're already seeing. And so,
Yes, Nick. I think this is very helpful for those who are exploring or maybe just starting their career, and then also this challenges or opportunities will definitely help them make a right informed decision. Nick, also you have been interacting and helping a lot of youth and job seeking, hiring or burnout, or maybe people sometimes feel burnout. What is the one advice that you have to youth who are just struggling to find the right or next right opportunity?
well, first I want to say that in my experience working in every country or many regions in the world, it is probably the hardest thing to get a job in South Asia. I am amazed at how competitive these jobs are. I'm amazed at the processes that y'all go through to get jobs. The idea of being on these group interviews is just mind-blowing to me, and being in the same room as your competitors for a job. So I want to start by saying that I think you have it really challenging compared to other parts of the world, and I honor that. I respect that tremendously. Um, and in terms of what I would do if I were a job seeker now, I think there are a lot of things that I would really try to keep in mind and be mindful of related to mental health. I would really take care of yourself, be easy on yourself, know that it might take longer than you want to find a job, know that rejection is just part of this journey, and that rejection in 2024, with all the ways that automation and AI have shaped the job application process, means that the volume of rejection is greater than in any time in human history. And so you've really got to be kind to yourself and honor that, like, this is hard, and that you may need to take time and to regenerate and to build a community around you of people who support and love and cherish who you are and can give you that confidence when you may not feel it. I would also say, tactically, building a routine with a job search is so critical. We hear this a lot uh, in social impact, but trying to, especially when you're facing that rejection, like, get up, go exercise, go get food, come back, apply for a certain number of jobs, do some networking, focus on that relationship building piece, get your day and your week cadence right, because it can be really challenging if you start to spiral and feel that sense of rejection really acutely, and then you don't get out of bed and you don't, send those applications. I think the last thing I would say is, if I had a choice as a job seeker of writing 100 applications in a day or having 3 networking calls, I will always take the 3 networking calls. And people will then be like, well, Nick, I don't have a network, I just graduated. Everybody has a network. Everybody knows another human who knows a human who knows a human. And when I graduated school, again, I had very little employability with my 2 degrees, but I loved meeting alumni from my schools. I would send notes. I would say, hey, can I buy you a dollar coffee? Can take you out and hear about your story. And I did that hundreds of times, meeting people, just sort of slowly understanding their stories, their journey. People love to talk about themselves. That is a culturally universal reality. And if you can give somebody an opportunity to tell their story, they will feel an affinity for you and potentially want to help you figure out your next step. So again, I can't say enough about the power of building relationships versus just blindly applying to jobs. I really do think that we all have the same amount of hours in the day. If it were me, I would spend that time trying to build those relationships versus the shotgun approach to applying to lots of jobs. So anyway, I've talked a lot, but that's I think hopefully a useful few tips for folks.
Thank you, Nick. I think the kind of insights or the kind of support or insight you have said definitely going to help those who are exploring opportunities in nonprofits. And who is better than you, who is guiding, sharing opportunities, and then sharing those insights. And also, some of those who are watching, there's an Impact Coach program by Nick. Nick also hosts a few LinkedIn learning courses, which might be helpful if you're exploring opportunities with nonprofits. Thank you so much, Nick, for your time. I think these insights are really helpful. The conversation to understand opportunities with the global nonprofits. We'll keep catching up again and then have a next round of conversation around this. Till then, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for Know the Social Sector.
You bet. All right. Thanks, friends. And thanks everybody to watching. Good luck with the job search. Follow me if you want some access to opportunities and lots of different ways, as MS mentioned, to engage with some of the platforms that we've built.